The reason big corporations will always be able to outframe and outgame and capture and control the government is because of the duration of their intention. Corporations always have long game intentions. Governments, on the other hand, or at least government officials, necessarily have short-term intentions, especially in a democracy, because government officials are always worried about the next election cycle. They're always worried about raising funds for the next election cycle. So they're always worried about stuff that's important right now, whereas corporations can think way out into the future. And whenever you have two people that are trying to get the same outcome, which is to control society, whoever has the longer frame outcome will tend to be able to outframe and control the person with the shorter frame outcome. Now, how does this apply to you in a persuasion situation? This is very similar to the idea that if you have two people that are negotiating, whoever wants the deal the least has the most power. Whoever wants the deal the most has the most power. Now, if you want the short-term deal the least, but you have a much longer-term outcome, you're going to have more power than someone that only has a short-term outcome. Because you don't really care if you get the short-term outcome or not, so long as you're focused on the long-term outcome. Now, how do you apply this during a persuasive conversation? How do you apply this during a persuasive conversation when you actually do have an outcome? Well, the first thing to do is relax your ego, because the ego instinct, whenever we talk about ourselves, that's like flexing our ego instinct. And whenever we flex our ego instinct, it's kind of like the hunger instinct. As soon as we start to feed an instinct, whether it's the hunger instinct or it's the flexing of our ego instinct, the rest of our brain kind of goes offline. If you're really, really hungry, and you have a delicious plate of food in front of you, if you try to eat that very, very slowly while simultaneously trying to solve an algebra problem, you won't be able to think very much. Because as soon as your brain or your mind-body system realizes there's something there that's going to feed your instincts, everything else goes offline and you focus only on this short-term instinct. The same thing happens when you relax your own ego, when you relax your tendency or your compulsion or your desire to talk about yourself or talk about your ideas or talk about your product, and you let the other person talk about their ideas. You let them talk about their intentions. You let them talk about their desires. You let them talk about their past decisions and successes, and let them flex their ego like crazy. That will be just like the hunger situation where you can't do the algebra problem. So long as you get them flexing their ego in the short term, you can relax and leave their ego to your long-term outcome intention. And so long as you focus on this kind of duration mismatch where you have a long-term outcome and they have a short-term ego-driven outcome, it's very, very easy to persuade people to just relax your ego. Relax your need to talk about yourself. Relax your need to give them advice. Relax your need to tell them what to do, and just ask them questions about what they want. Ask them questions about their past successes and let them expand their ego map. It's very easy to persuade them. Now, because you understand this more than most, this is going to be relatively easy for you to put into practice. Perhaps you've already done this. Maybe you can imagine the times in your past where you have done things like this, where you have been able to relax your ego and you let the other person flex their ego like crazy, and you've discovered how easy this is to lead people wherever you want them to go. Somebody like you, with your extensive experience and your extensive view of the world, your way of experiencing things that are different than other people, you have a unique trait that allows you to do this much better than other people might even be able to imagine. In fact, it is your creative thinking process that allows you to maybe imagine ways that you can use this technique not only in a sales situation, but in social situations. Now, I don't know about you. I don't know what's inside your brain. I don't know if you want to use these techniques to make a lot of money in sales like a lot of other people have been using, because when you do relax your instinct to close your customer, or relax the compulsion to close the customer and let them flex their ego, you can guide them right to the close on their own without you having to say anything. And people that have been able to use this process in a sales situation have found out how easy it is to close people again and again and again without any pressure. Now, I don't know about you. I don't know if this is something you're interested in, or I don't know if maybe you're interested in applying this technique in a romantic situation where you can ask them certain questions in a certain sequence to get them feeling very, very attracted to you. But if you are interested in maybe finding out if this is something that you can apply, check out the links below. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.